Peace, y'all. It's Sa-Roc, and this is Amazing Grace Decoded. So the feeling of Amazing Grace is kind of like that revelatory feeling when you suddenly realize just how dope you are. And like, in that space, when you finally realize it, when it dawns on you, you start to become your biggest champion. You're like, oh yeah, I am that girl. I am dope. I am talented. I am beautiful, all these things. And like, you start to accept the past compliments you've been giving and the accolades that you may have received and the recognition. And it just hits you like a ton of bricks. And then when that feeling happens, it becomes infectious and you want to share that. So just like when you're hyping up your bestie and y'all are hyping each other up, you're like, yeah, I'm amazing. I'm dope. I'm fly. Yeah, you too, girl. Yes, we are so dope. How dare we question ourselves? So I wanted to create like that feeling of, I'm dope and so are you. I'm amazing and so are you. We need to start owning that and recognizing and acknowledging that in each other. And I think it was so fitting because the track has like this organ in the beginning. So that's kind of like a harbinger of what's to come. Like this is church, if you will, because I feel like when you start to understand that you are like this beautiful creation of light, like that is the highest form of divinity when you recognize how beautiful of a creation that you are. So like that church organ is like bringing that like kind of revelatory vibe to the song. So yeah, Amazing Grace. The stars and planets aligned the day the architects premiere my uncanny design. I played it humble because I stumbled on this warpath, but they named me Overlord of Choice and recorded my crimes. So like, I'm just talking about how when we come to this planet, celestial bodies and planets all have a certain position in the sky. And that determines our astrological sign, and it also determines, the nature of our being here on this planet. And when I talk about the architects, I'm talking about both my parents. I'm talking about everybody living and in the ethers, including ancestors and the creator who conspired to birth me here or bring me here to this planet. I played it humble because I stumbled on this warpath. I'm talking about how I got into hip hop kind of accidentally. I wasn't one of those people who like always knew they were destined to be an MC. I wasn't always, writing rhymes. And, from an early age, I kind of discovered, it was an accidental discovery that this is something that I can do. So I kind of always kind of played under the radar. And my talent spoke for itself and they designated me one of the dopest. So they named me Overlord of Choice and recorded my crimes. I came from DC, moved out the home of the peach tree, gave up on my degrees to push blessed decree. My EPs is known for putting spirits on the rocks. It's a deep freeze. They fast talking. I'm wishing them Ema Brock season's greetings. So those who know, I'm from Washington, D.C. I moved out to Atlanta in '04. Georgia, I guess the state tree is like the peach tree. And I left my pursuit of a college degree, figure out my life, and I ended up, spitting bars and, I assign a level of spiritual elevation and profundity to my bars, and that's hence the holy decree part. My EPs is known for putting spirits on the rocks, and spirits, I'm talking about people and just talking about how cold my rhymes are, how cold my projects are. Putting spirits on the rocks, it's a, obvious reference to liquor. It's a deep freeze. They fast talk, and a lot of people be yapping and trying to fast talk, and I say I'm wishing them Eid Mubarak because Eid Mubarak is a greeting typically used during Ramadan, which is a period of fasting for Muslims, a fasting season for Muslims. So that's why I say season's greetings, because it is a greeting that you use to your fellow brother or sister in Islam during that time. They out of my range, my lead too far. Graduated from secular bars to penning surahs. This for all the clowns that discounted me like a Groupon. Got their first taste of Lux, now they stuck in a drunken stupor. So like, they out of my range. Like these other MCs can't see me. My lead is too far. My intellect, my style, all the dope things about me as an artist has catapulted me far past the point at which anyone can ever hope to catch up with me, And then, secular means it's the opposite of sacred. It's of the world. It's really things or topics or subjects that are not of divine substance. So I'm talking about the process of my writing. Like I went from, basic to balanced, basic to elevated. So I'm contrasting this idea of secular and sacred, and I use surahs because that's the sacred text of the Quran in Islam. I grew up with the Quran in my household and other Eastern texts, Bhagavad Gita and all that. So like I reference Islamic texts and words quite frequently because of that. But I like to play around with like similar letters. So like the sacred, secular, sacred surah within like bars. So I love that contrast there. This is for all the clowns that discounted me like a Groupon. So like anybody who tried to belittle me or like play me out or tell me I was irrelevant, I'm comparing this to Groupon. So like Groupon is that app that gives you discounts. And I say got that first taste of Lux because a lot of times on Groupon, that's when Groupon makes things more accessible and often luxury services. So like facials and massages and stuff like that. So I'm saying like they realize that this is luxury writing, luxury bars, and now they stuck. They hooked. They don't want nothing else. I do this for my front stoop and latchkey initiates that knew that we was worth more than the state of our conditioning. My position solid gold, nothing plated but these Michelin star dishes, another missive from the greatest out the district. So I'm talking about front stoop babies, my latchkey kids, all those people who grew up in the city and, were left to their own devices. And a lot of times kids sitting on the front stoop or coming home alone and had to like fend for themselves. We learned things the hard way. We had tough experiences, regardless of whether you came from, a 2-parent household or lived in a house or an apartment or whatever. We just experienced the world a lot more intimately than, other kids who got like front door service from home to school and stuff, who knew that we was worth more than the state of our conditioning. So despite even all the things that we experienced that may have been traumatic or whatever, they don't define us. We were conditioned to believe that we were less than because of our circumstances. But I'm saying here, this is for all my folks that know that that doesn't define us. My position is solid gold. Like I'm unbreakable, I'm unshakable, nothing plated. This is also a reference to the gold. I'm not gold plated, I'm solid gold. Nothing plated but these Michelin star dishes. I'm talking about my food in terms of 5-star, 3-star, Michelin stars, the highest, tier in the culinary world, or the highest award given to chefs who are doing amazing things within the culinary world. So I'm talking about my bars as if they are feasts worthy of awards, the highest awards, the finest awards. So another missive, a missive is a letter, from the greatest out the district. In the district I'm referring to Washington, D.C. So then the hook, they said I was ready, I couldn't see it. Guess I had it in me, all I had to do was be it. I made it off the corners, next up is Coliseums. Should have never called me dope, because motherfucker, I believe it. This is talking about all the people in my life, mentors, teachers, family, who tried to tell me, friends who tried to tell me, you dope, you got it, all these things, but we don't believe it because we have that negative self-talk that's, telling us otherwise, that tells us that we're not good enough, we're not worthy, we're not smart enough, there are other people who are so much better than we are, all these things, this self-limiting talk that we'd rather listen to than, the positive things, right? I couldn't see it at first, but I had it in me the whole time. It existed within me. It exists within us the whole time. All I had to do was step into that thing, step into who it was that was waiting there the whole time, right? Because it's like that dawning moment, once you realize it, then it becomes you. You just have to affirm it, and you have to believe it and know it. Made It Off the Corners next up is Coliseum. She's just contrasting, my life growing up in, the hood or whatever. Next up is, performing in arenas, 10,000, 30,000 person audiences, Should have never called me dope because motherfucker, I believe it. And that's just me like really talking my shit, because I'm going to take, if you're being authentic or if you're blowing smoke, I'm going to take all the compliments, all the positivity, and I believe it now. Like sometimes people tell you stuff just to keep you kind of placated and gas you just enough so that they can tear you down if they need to, put you in your place if they need to. But I actually believe it. I'm not just taking and listening to these things and then just using them to soothe my ego to the point where I can perform. I'm actually internalizing these things because I already said I already have it in me. And once that happens, there's nothing you can do to knock me off my throne. There's nothing you can do to deter me from my path. So, and I use the word motherfucker like, because like that's emphatic. I'm showing you just how serious I am. Motherfucker, I believe it. I know I be shocking people sometimes. Like, oh, she really dropped the F-bomb there. Yeah, but, that's just to let you know I'm real serious. And you should believe it too. Believe me, we need you too. You know what you need to do. Just be unbelievable. That make you unbeatable. It's giving me amazing. And I feel like that's self-explanatory. That's me talking to you, talking to the bestie, talking to anybody who needs to hear that not only am I dope, you're dope too. Not only am I worthy and valuable and talented and creative and all the things, you are too. That makes you unbeatable. You know what I'm saying? Like that allows you to be unbreakable in this world, because no one can gaslight you and tell you otherwise, because you have embedded that belief within yourself. Just be unbelievable. Wow yourself at every turn. It's giving me amazing. And you should believe it too. Believe me, we need you too. You know what you need to do. Just be unbelievable. That make you unbeatable. It's giving me amazing. And this part is self-explanatory. This is the part I talked about earlier about like wanting this feeling to be contagious and infectious. And, in me understanding how dope that I am and recognizing my talents and the best of who I am, I want to extend that feeling or, in some way encourage that feeling in other people. Because when we have a collective community, a world of people who understand that they belong and they have value and they have purpose, and that's important, that feeling spreads and we become intentional in how we want to change the world. It can be really transformational. So, and no one can tear you down from that once you know it. Like once you really, really know it, like there's nothing that anyone can say or gaslight or, try to detract from you that can tear you from that sense of self and knowledge. So it's amazing. It's giving me amazing. And I want everybody to feel that.